Good morning, Idaho. On this Wednesday, it is 6 o'clock. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Good to have you along, everyone. Hope you had a chance to vote yesterday. We've got full team coverage of Election Day this morning with unofficial results across Idaho and a lot to get to. Some big races this year, from mayoral races in Nampa, Caldwell, and Garden City, all seeing new faces in leadership. Plus, school levies, a big issue on ballots, along with tax initiatives that are likely to make your next trip out to Idaho's mountain towns perhaps a little more expensive. We'll get to all of our in-depth election result coverage in just a moment, and throughout the newscast you can monitor the bottom of your screen for the latest results. But first, let's get the latest on our weather with Sophia Cruz. You get ready to head out the door. Yesterday you needed the umbrella pretty much right away. You might just need it for lunch today, huh? Yeah, just for lunchtime really. These showers are on and off, so it's always best just to have it on hand and to be prepared. But either way, it's hump day. We're through the middle of the week. We're almost done with this rainy pattern. As we head into the weekend, you'll really enjoy the weather out there. Looking at downtown right now, it's a beautiful start to our morning. 49, a little bit warmer and a bit breezy. So as you get ready to head out to work and school this morning, make sure you've got the jacket as you get ready for breakfast time. You've got lower 50s, overcast conditions. As we head into lunchtime and dinner, showers will be present across the area. It won't be as consistent as what we saw yesterday morning, but it'll be pretty sporadic. I think the best part about the rainy pattern though, Roland, is that we get some nice, really a good glass of water for Idaho, and then this will eventually change over to snow as we start to get cooler out there. Exactly. We'll always take the water. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it since we're in a high desert, right? Hey, we start this morning in Canyon County with the news, and it's all election coverage where voters have chosen the next mayor for two of the largest cities in the Treasure Valley. In Nampa, Rick Hogaboom will replace Debbie Kling. Preliminary results show him about 4,000 votes ahead of the nearest competition. And in Caldwell, it looks like incumbent Jerem Wagner has been ousted by Eric Phillips. Preliminary results again showing Phillips will win with 57% of the vote. Our Leslie Solis was at the Canyon County election office monitoring voter turnout and speaking with the winners of those mayoral races.
22,000 voters cast ballots across Canyon County. I'm your Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis. That turnout included in-person voters from Election Day and absentee voters whose absentee ballots were processed at the county elections office. Countywide, those ballots are now shaping outcomes in municipal leadership and in supplemental levy questions for local school districts. Voters had a strong turnout in Canyon County as results came in from each precinct. Elections office staff officially announced the winners of the municipal races, including two new mayors. Rick Hogaboom will now serve as mayor in Nampa, and voters elected Eric Phillips over incumbent Jerem Wagner. Idaho News 6 spoke with both mayors about their wins and what they hope to bring to their cities.
A campaign that I ran that was focused on issues. Positive campaign focusing on what makes Nampa special and how we can improve. I'm glad that platform and that messaging resounded with the citizens of Nampa. I want people to know I've heard you loud and clear, right? And I think the message was sent tonight that people are ready for change, and I'm a people's mayor. I've been out there on the streets. I didn't fill people's mailboxes full of mailers. It was door to door, street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood. And that's the way I want to serve as mayor, is to make sure I'm out there in the community seeing, what's going on, what needs, fixed, what different directions we need to go, and really just kind of bring the city in.
When it came to local school levies, Middleton asked voters to approve a nearly $2.5 million levy aimed at supporting school staffing, funding key district needs, and maintaining school resource officers. Ultimately, voters denied the measure, leaving the district up to those needs. For the Nampa School District, voters were asked to approve a replacement levy to help maintain staffing, fund key district needs, and continue supporting school resource officers. The levy would lower taxes from $63 to $40 per $100,000 of taxable value. Voters approved the measure with a simple majority. Idaho News 6 will continue to follow those measures and issues voters approved. I'm your Caldwell neighborhood reporter Leslie Solis, Idaho News 6.
Alrighty, now let's take a look at school levies in the Treasure Valley, which was kind of a mixed bag overall. In Canyon County, a rough night for the Middleton School District, looking to pass a $2.4 million levy for 2 years to support salaries and safety measures. Unofficial results showing it will fail, with 55% of votes going against it. And in Nampa, a narrow win for a $16.8 million levy supporting teacher salaries, technology, and extracurriculars. Notably, the state will cover the first $10 million of that. Preliminary results show 52% of voters are in favor, with 48% against. And some good news for a school south of Mountain Home we've told you about with extended coverage over the past several months. It looks like the small Bruno Elementary School is going to stay open this year, preventing transportation headaches for parents. Unofficially, 55% of voters opting to keep the school open. Turning now to Idaho's green spaces and recreational areas that we so value in this state. In Boise, the Clean Water and Open Space Levy passes overwhelmingly. The $10 million levy would last 2 years. It looks to reduce wildfire risk, protect wildlife habitat, and create new parks and pathways. Ada County voters turned out big in support of that levy, with 81% of voters in favor. In Idaho's mountain towns, a few tax initiatives could make your next staycation a little bit more expensive. In North Valley County, voters deciding on a new community center district and field house. This morning, voters are 64% in favor, 36% against that. In Sun Valley, taxes on many tourist-related services will rise. Blaine County voters voting 69% for that measure. In Haley, a local tax on rental vehicles and hotels looking like it's going to rise this morning. The count showing voters are 75% in favor. So we go to Wood River Valley neighborhood reporter Joey Martin to break it all down.
I'm your neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, and voters in 3 Blaine County cities are deciding the future of local taxes.
Sun Valley residents are voting to extend multiple local taxes for the next 25 years. The proposal maintains current tax rates on restaurants, hotels, and short-term rentals at 3%. Recreation facilities would also be taxed at 3%, but ski lift tickets would only see 1% tax, with retail goods being taxed at 2%. The tax primarily targets tourists and visitors to fund city services. In Haley, voters are deciding whether to increase taxes on rental vehicles and hotel stays from 4 to 6%. All other parts of the tax structure approved in May of 2023 would remain the same. Bellevue is asking voters to approve several new taxes and increase existing ones. The proposal includes a 1% restaurant tax and a 2% tax on liquor. Hotel taxes would double from 3 to 6%. The taxes would also be extended from 5 to 15 years. Revenue would fund public safety services, including law enforcement and pedestrian safety programs.
All 3 measures need a supermajority to pass. Reporting in Twin Falls, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
So some pretty interesting measures and races, obviously, in this off-year election, but it all resulted in a pretty big turnout for this consolidated election. We go to our Sahana Patel at the Ada County Election Office, breaking down voting in Ada County by the numbers.
Smoothly at the Ada County Elections Office Tuesday as voters rolled in to hit the polls. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel with a look at voter turnout in Ada County. Roughly 81,000 ballots were cast in Ada County.
If you compare this election with like elections, which would be like a 2017, we're much higher turnout than we normally are.
The polling place is closed.
As of 11 p.m. Tuesday, 100% of the votes were tallied. That includes 52,969 voters who hit the polls in person, 12,882 early voting ballots, and 15,278 submitted an absentee ballot. Cars from across 189 precincts and 132 voting locations arrived to the Ada County Elections Office around 45 minutes after polls closed. Ballots were then taken inside the warehouse.
So we go through a very sophisticated, methodical process of getting everything where it's supposed to go within the warehouse.
From there, the votes head into a tabulation room where rows of computers not connected to the internet scan absentee, early voting, and election day ballots.
Those all go into our tally system, and from there we pull it out of the room and we go over and we report to the Secretary of State's website.
Ada County Clerk Trent Triple says Tuesday's election night ran smoothly throughout the county.
So far, we haven't had any reports of anybody not being able to vote as they've wanted to. So we call that a successful election.
If you want to keep up with results as they're updated, head to the link on this story on idahonews6.com. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
You can find a full list of the election results in your neighborhood on our website, idahonews6.com. When we get back, a look at the blue wave that this year's election saw across the country, with Democrats winning nearly every big race while President Trump attempts to distance himself from the outcome. Welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. It's 12 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at your national headlines this morning. A UPS cargo plane crashed and exploded in a massive fireball while taking off from the company's global aviation hub in Louisville, Kentucky, killing at least 7 people and injuring 11 others. Video showed flames on the plane's left wing and a trail of smoke, and then the plane lifted slightly off the ground before crashing and exploding in a huge fireball. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says he expects the death toll to rise because many of the injured were badly burned. We are now in the longest government shutdown in American history at 36 days, everyone. The previous record holder was a 35-day stint back in 2018 during President Trump's first term. This time, Republicans and Democrats are still at an impasse over extending subsidies under the Affordable Care Act that are set to expire. Sources behind the scenes have indicated that some progress is being made between the two sides. We keep our fingers crossed for that. While they negotiate, average Americans, though, are the ones paying the price, from food insecurity to delayed flights to furloughs and federal employees working without pay. The Supreme Court hears arguments today on whether President Trump's tariffs overstepped federal law. Trump has used tariffs in an attempt to advance his economic agenda and foreign policy goals. Earlier this year, 2 lower courts and most judges on the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that Trump did not have the power to set tariffs, but the import taxes were left in place until the Supreme Court could weigh in. Turning now back to election news at the national level this morning, and a big sweep for Democrats. The ballots are in, showing decisive victories in many key races across the country. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington tracking it all.
This morning, the votes are in. Democrats celebrating wins from New York to Virginia and west to California. Starting in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani beat Andrew Cuomo in the mayor's race. This self-described Democratic socialist sending this message to President Trump.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
President Trump had repeatedly threatened to withhold federal funding from New York City if Mamdani won. And while Mamdani was delivering his victory speech last night, the president posted the words, "And so it begins," on social media. Trump's former senior advisor weighing in.
These are elections where Democrats vastly outspent Republicans. But looking forward, we do have to acknowledge that affordability is an issue that is top of mind for voters.
In New Jersey, Democrat Maggie Sherrill was easily elected governor, despite some earlier polling labeling her race a toss-up. And in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger making history as the first woman governor-elect of Virginia, after defeating Republican Winsome Earl Sears in a landslide.
Right now, our federal workforce is under attack, and the chaos coming out of Washington is killing Virginia jobs.
In California, Governor Gavin Newsom led a triumphant charge to redraw congressional maps to give Democrats as many as 5 more House seats in next year's midterm elections.
After poking the bear, this bear roared with an unprecedented turnout.
It comes after President Trump urged lawmakers in several Republican-controlled states to pass new maps in an effort to keep control of Congress. Overall, the results show the economy is still the key issue for voters.
People still see these higher prices and they still want to do something about it.
The president reacted to the wins on social media, arguing that the ongoing government shutdown and the fact that he was not on the ballot were the reasons Republicans lost. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Okay, neighborhood of the day is Caldwell. Happy Wednesday to you. We've got lower 60s and mild weather this afternoon, but don't forget the umbrella. The rain continues. I'll have all of those details ahead.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, it's 18 minutes past the hour. Time to check on our weather with Sophia. And you want the umbrella for the afternoon, I guess, but it's going to be warm at least. That's good news.
Yeah, we are looking at warmer temperatures throughout the afternoon, and that flow that we're getting is what's keeping those rain chances with us. So, yeah, well, today is going to still be rainy. It's still a pretty mild day ahead of us, and it's already looking a lot better on the roads. No rain for the morning commutes. As you take a look at I-84 Garrity this morning, pretty quiet out there right now. A few commuters starting to head out into that eastbound lane, but the roads look very quiet and dry overall. We're not looking at any showers across southwestern Idaho at this moment, but as you head up towards northern Idaho, Lewiston, even as you head into portions of Salmon, it looks like they just saw some showers. All of the rain right now is focused from Washington down into California, bringing some showers to their morning commutes, but for us, it's a pretty quiet start to the day. We do have a wind advisory in place, so this is an update from yesterday across eastern Oregon, extending all the way into Silver City, where gusts could get upwards towards 55 miles per hour. Now, that means to secure anything loose around your home, take a look at our winds right now. We already are picking up a light breeze, so while it will be gustiest along eastern Oregon, we'll still see a pretty good breeze here in our Treasure Valley. Barely any wind rolling through our mountains at this moment, but as we move through the day and into that 2 o'clock hour, that's when you'll notice that notable difference of some breezy and gusty winds. Again, 30 miles per hour looks to be pretty consistent across eastern Oregon, and then as you head into those valley floors, that's where you start to notice wind gusts sitting around 15 to 16 miles per hour, which isn't too bad, but it does accumulate to a light breeze. Into Thursday around 3 o'clock, we'll continue to see that same pattern again. Breezy and gusty along eastern Oregon, and then light breeze along our Treasure Valley. So it'll feel pretty good this afternoon with that light breeze. Temperatures will be sitting in those mid-60s. Along our mountains, you'll continue to see those mid-50s. So some nice, pretty mild weather. You just want the umbrella for those light showers we'll see this afternoon. They arrive as early as 2 o'clock. So again, this is when those showers start to come into play across our mountains and along our valley floors. They fleet through the area, and then overnight tonight, we'll see that same pattern again where it's on and off. Thankfully, it's while we're sleeping, so we don't really have to deal with it too much. But by the time we head into Thursday morning, we'll see again those light showers through our mountains, and a lot of that rain, that mountain valley rain, will eventually change over to snow as this next front comes through on Friday. This front brings all those snow levels down to about 6,500 feet in elevation, so all of that rain will change over to snow through the end of the week. Now, the rain does still stick with us here in the Treasure Valley through at least Friday, with mid-50s expected into Saturday and Sunday. Anything you need to do outdoors, that'll be the perfect days for it, especially like washing the car. Next week, we kick it off more seasonable with 59 to start on Monday, and then 60s return by Tuesday and Wednesday. So we just got to get through these next couple rainy days together.
Millions of Americans will soon be paying more for health insurance. That's because insurance companies on the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, are charging more for coverage next year.
It's basically unaffordable for many.
KFF, a nonprofit focused on health policy, found insurance companies on the Affordable Care Act are raising premium costs by roughly 26% on average in 2026, and there's not much people can do to lower those costs.
If you drop down, take a less generous plan, then you're going to have a higher deductible.
More than 24 million people get their health insurance through the ACA, and roughly 92% of them receive federal tax credits to help lower their monthly costs. But those healthcare subsidies are at the center of the battle on Capitol Hill. They're set to expire at the end of 2025. Democrats want to extend those tax credits.
If enhanced premium tax credits expire, we're expecting that on average, premium payments are going to more than double. That's a 114% increase.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates permanently extending the subsidies would cost $350 billion over the next decade. Many Republicans say they won't negotiate the subsidies until enough Democrats approve a spending bill to end the government shutdown. Caught in the middle is the American public. Without the subsidies, KFF says average monthly premium costs could go from $888 to as much as more than $1,900 next year.
It's a complicated situation.
It's not just ACA premiums going up. KFF found annual family premiums for employer coverage is higher as well. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
In Twin Falls, big news for anyone trying to get to Las Vegas for under $50. Big news out at the Magic Valley Regional Airport as a new airline has just touched down, connecting Twin Falls to Las Vegas. I'm your Twin Falls neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, at the press conference where Breeze Airways made the big announcement.
And I'm excited to announce that we are going to start flying to Las Vegas International Airport, March 6th.
The Magic Valley Regional Airport just doubled its airline operations as Breeze Airways expands westward. Twin Falls flights to Sin City will start twice a week on Mondays and Fridays starting next spring. But that's not all.
Once you stop on that plane in Vegas, you can stay on the plane and go through to Orange County. So it's the quickest way to get there without a nonstop.
And for those on a tight travel budget,
it's all affordable. Flights are on sale to Vegas starting at $49.
City leaders are thrilled, to say the least.
It's always nice to have more flights, more ways to get in and out of Twin Falls. And so we're excited to have this Las Vegas and Orange County connection.
This gives more opportunity for our citizens to travel, not only for business, but for pleasure, for quality of life issues. It just gives them another option.
Super excited to see an expansion of air service here at Magic Valley Regional Airport. Breeze, I think, is going to be a fantastic partner, providing opportunities for some leisure and business travel to markets that we don't currently have served.
As for why Twin Falls, Breeze says it's the perfect emerging market for the aircraft they fly, an Airbus 220.
Twin Falls has had a lot of growth over the last decade, and the air service hasn't quite matched that. And so we've got the right aircraft to be able to come in here to be able to collect those people and take them down to where they want to go.
For more information on Breeze Airways, log on to idahonews6.com and click on this story. Reporting in Twin Falls, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
All right, everybody, it is 6:28. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Idaho. We have much more in store coming up in our next half hour. For instance, we're going to be talking live with Bill Jacobs, new mayor of Garden City. That's ahead, as well as all the rest of your news from your neighborhood reporters.
I'm Victoria Rodriguez in Canyon County, where voters decided on 3 separate fire levies on election night, and initial results show all 3 failed.
Election results are in, and we're taking a closer look at what factors made a difference at the polls.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Everybody, welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. The day after Election Day, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. It is 6:30. Good to have you along, everyone. Hope you had a chance to get out and vote yesterday. We've got a lot of election results to bring you this morning, from fire levies across the Treasure Valley to a unique race in Ketchum where voters decided on whether or not they'd even have a mayor before eventually voting in a new mayor. Don't hear that every day. Plus, coming up at 6:40, we're going to talk to the newly elected mayor of Garden City, Bill Jacobs, live in studio to discuss his vision for the future of Garden City, which is growing so fast, and what he'd like to accomplish there. More on all that to come, but first let's start with our weather this morning. Sophia Cruz joins us, and the rain is going to continue a little bit throughout the area, but mostly this afternoon, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just on and off. It's kind of weather that makes you want to cozy up on the couch, get your first cup of coffee going, and sometimes the rain does slow us down a bit, so as you wake up this morning, it's not raining, which is already good news for your morning commute. I'm showing you Sun Valley right now, where it's a bit of a cloudy start to the day here. That snow still continuing to hang on to the mountains, and hopefully pretty soon we'll see more snow than rain in our forecast. But for today and along our Treasure Valley, it's still a cloudy start to the day, still cool, so grab the light jacket. You've got 57 through 10 a.m. As we get ready for lunchtime, that's when those shower chances will return. They'll be pretty on and off throughout the afternoon ahead, so make sure you also have the umbrella. Again, Roland, though, the weekend still looks perfect, so we just got to get through these next couple of rainy days.
Right, it's the middle of the work week. It's okay. The weekend is looking great, so that's fabulous. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. We start this half hour with fire levies, which did not fare so well across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, threatening response times and funding for first responders. In Boise County, the Garden Valley Fire District was looking to fund emergency medical services and staffing. Preliminary final results show only 42% in favor, so that goes down to defeat. We go now to neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, who first introduced us to this levy and explains the consequences of it failing.
The
results are officially in, and the levy to support the Garden Valley Fire District has failed. I'm your neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, and this is a big deal for the people of Garden Valley, as without this funding, they may lose EMS service altogether. Garden Valley Fire Chief Paul Cleveland tells me the department has been losing money ever since they absorbed the Crouch ambulance about a decade ago. This levy would have allowed them to fund the ambulance, add more staff, and improve pay. But now they're going to have to make some tough decisions on how they plan to keep serving the growing community. The most likely option is that they simply won't have enough money to keep the ambulance running. Now that the dust has settled, I'll be reaching back out to the Garden Valley Fire Chief to see what they plan to do. For now, I'm Brady Caskey reporting for Idaho News 6.
All right, so fire levies also on the ballot in Ada and Canyon counties. The Middleton Star Fire District on the ballot in both counties for the fourth time couldn't get the supermajority needed to pass. Voters in Ada County with 58% in favor and 42% against. Voters in Canyon County weighing in on identical request for the Middleton Fire District. Results showing it failed 51% to 49%. And in Parma, fire officials there say they are short-staffed and stretched thin on funding, but also could not get the required supermajority of 2/3 of voters to vote their way. The unofficial tally there, 61% in favor. Canyon County neighborhood reporter Victoria Rodriguez gives us more context to those numbers and what the failing levies mean for rural fire stations in the Treasure Valley.
Victoria Rodriguez in Canyon County, where voters decided on 3 separate fire levies on election night, and initial results show all 3 failed. In Parma, the $1 million levy got 61% of votes in favor, but needed more than 66% to pass. Chief Rogers says the funds would have helped raise firefighter wages and improve retention, but this marks another setback for the department. In Middleton and Star, voters weighed in on 2 separate $2.2 million levies for their shared fire district. Because the 2 cities share resources, staffing in one affects the other. Initial results show both measures also failed to meet the 2/3 requirement, meaning neither Station 54 in Middleton nor Station 55 in Star will receive additional staffing and resources they were hoping for.
Now, while rural firefighters didn't fare so well, good news for first responders in the city of Meridian. A levy to provide funding for police, firefighters, and emergency responders has passed there with 66% of the votes, allowing the city to retain 13 firefighter positions, increase police officer wages, and fund a prosecution unit. In Payette County, officials were hoping for a $40 million bond to build a new jail facility, with the current 50-year-old jail having failed inspection 3 times. But Payette voters turned it down. 56% were in favor, 44% against. It just wasn't enough. In Ketchum, a unique petition that would have changed the city's form of government from a mayor-council system to a council-manager system, but voters opting to stick with what they're used to, the traditional structure, with 60% of voters against the petition to change. And since the measure failed, then you have to have a mayor, right? So Ketchum voters replacing the sitting mayor, Neil Bradshaw, with Pete Preckegs handily defeating John Wigdale, garnering 81% of the votes to secure his victory. So we go now to our Riley Shoemaker, who spoke with a political analyst unpacking trends in this year's elections, especially the Garden City mayoral race and Boise City Council contests. And then right after that, we're going to be joined here in studio by Garden City's new mayor, Bill Jacobs.
Good morning, Idaho. After a night of ballot counting, a theme emerged in some local races across the Treasure Valley. Voters chose what they know. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker speaking with a Boise State political analyst about why familiarity may have led to victory for multiple candidates. In several local races, voters may be signaling that change doesn't always mean unfamiliar. Like in Garden City, with Mayor John Evans retiring after 25 years, a current city council member, Bill Jacobs, is now the projected next mayor.
I think voter familiarity is a big part of the equation. And so Jacobs has been very involved in the community and very involved in sort of the public realm in Garden City for quite a while. These local level elections are really interesting because for the most part, at least here in Idaho, voters aren't able to look up and down the ballot for a D or an R next to a candidate's name.
Boise State political analyst Jeffrey Lyons says that name recognition also showed up in Boise's District 6 city council race, where incumbent Jimmy Halliburton appears to have handily won the race.
One of the interesting things I think to look at across a lot of these races is how do incumbents fare? And we know typically in American elections, incumbents do pretty well. So I think you're seeing what appears to be a pretty comfortable win for Jimmy Halliburton.
And beyond candidates, voters are also making decisions about how communities grow, spend, and invest through levies.
Levies are really very important and very interesting. You know, they come with these different thresholds that they need to pass. A levy tends to be a direct increase, a direct allocation of money from taxpayers for a specific project.
Lyons says these local focus elections may not have the national spotlight, but they have a bigger impact on daily life.
Here we're talking about, you know, how do you keep the city running? How do you manage growth? Talking about parks, talking about, you know, government transparency. These are things that we all encounter and impact us every single day.
Lyons tells me these races are a reminder that your local ballot and your local vote can change how your city operates. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
So we are joined now live in studio with the newly elected mayor of Garden City, Bill Jacobs. Hey, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
So what do you think made the difference?
Well, I think a lot of it is just having experience and knowing the city at a detailed level, and I think that really helps. You know, when we talk issues, I was able to articulate what's happening with the city currently, where I think it needs to go, and just I think voters wanted someone who knew the city, and I think that reflected in the vote.
So, you know, change is the key word in this state, it seems like, and certainly in the Treasure Valley, and in no place does that, you know, apply more than Garden City, I think, because it's booming. And that's a good thing for you guys, but that presents its own set of challenges. How do you keep things, first of all, affordable as you move forward?
Well, affordable is based on kind of the market rate, right? And so, you know, what we try to do is the role of the mayor is to make sure we maintain our services and our quality of life as we grow. And so we do that through our code and through working with the city staff and working with the residents, you know, to implement our comprehensive plan. And affordable, I think most people, when they talk about affordable, they relate to housing. And so I think if we can have a variety of housing, I think that is important, because then you have different price points that people can afford, you know, whether they're elderly or whether they're new young families or single family or multiplexes. And I think having that middle housing, a variety of housing, and I think that's what we'd like to have in Garden City, because then that makes it more affordable, just because you have different products that people can choose.
Yeah, no question. You know, you look downtown Boise, you see the cranes all over the place, and obviously butting right up to the city as it kind of spreads outwards. Are we going to see more cranes downtown Garden City?
We don't have any applications for any cranes right now, and I'm an advocate for some height restrictions. So, you know, I don't think we want any really super tall buildings in Garden City, but we want to be able to manage it. And I think that's one decision that we'll have to make as residents and city councils. What do we want that to look like? What do we want our code to look like? And what do we want to allow in Garden City? We can only go up, so then the decision is what's that height density balance.
Yeah, exactly. You look back 30, 40 years ago, kind of a sleepy little town. That's not the case anymore. But we were saying, you know, better to be busy than bored, that's for sure.
Well, Garden City's a great place. You know, it's happening. You know, I've heard Riverside Hotel being called like a resort. You go down to the sandbar in the summer. It's happening. We've got Talaya and all these great wineries and breweries in downtown and the East End. The Ada County Commissioners have done a great job of approving that park that's going in right in the heart of the city. We have the Greenbelt. There's just a great place to live, and it's central to everything. People like living in Garden City. You're close to Boise, close to the airport. You know, you're really close to everything, and we have that Greenbelt that runs right through the city. So I think it's just going to keep getting better, and I'm excited.
So much to cover in the future, and Bill, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can find a full list of the election results in your neighborhood on our website, idahonews6.com.
Thousands of Idahoans, including right here in the Treasure Valley, continue to face uncertainty about where their next meal could come from as SNAP benefits lapse. I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke speaking with one parent who says nearly all of her grocery funds came from SNAP benefits, and now she's worried her kids could go hungry.
It's just pretty scary not to know if you're going to be able to take care of your kids.
Natalie Essman works part-time and is a single mom of 4.
5, 6, 7, 8.
With the government shutdown affecting SNAP benefits, she says she's more worried than ever about keeping food on the table.
Not even for myself. I wouldn't mind if I went without food for the day, but I mind if they do.
Many children enrolled at Giraffe Laugh come from low-income families. To make sure no child goes to sleep hungry, staff are reminding parents about the free food pantry available at all 5 of their locations.
We've definitely seen an uptick in our food pantry needs. A lot more people asking for and needing resources and food. We're here to help with that.
In Boise, I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke for Idaho News 6.
Okay, it is 6:45, and as we get ready for the day, in case you missed it, neighborhood of the day is Caldwell. You've got 60s this afternoon, and the rain will continue on. I'll have all of those details in your forecast ahead.
Mia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Okay, good morning everyone and happy hump day. Your time right now is 6:48 and I hope you got a good night's rest. We're almost through the middle of our week, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's kind of going by pretty fast. Now this morning, the good news about it is that we're not looking at any rain. So no slippery roads for the morning commute. It is looking pretty rainy though over from Washington down into Oregon and portions of California. Now, we're not done with the rain just yet, but right now what you'll notice is that we have a southwesterly flow bringing in all this plume of moisture across the Pacific Northwest, including Idaho. And so rain chances are going to stick with us through the end of our Friday, but the bigger change that we're starting to see is that temperatures throughout the afternoon are warming slightly. Now, some spots taking a little bit to get there, but because of that southwesterly flow, you have that warmer air moving in, so temperatures throughout the afternoon will be gradually a little bit warmer than yesterday. So nothing super crazy, but it is just a different pattern that we're seeing for November. Right now, it is still cool. So make sure you have the light jacket as you head out for the day. Right now, you're waking up to 49 in Boise, 41 over in Stanley. Numbers look pretty cool no matter what neighborhood you're waking up in this morning. By the afternoon, we'll continue to see those mid 60s in some spots on our valley floors. You've got 62 in Caldwell, 64 over into Boise, mid 50s to continue into our mountains this afternoon. We normally average for November about 78 or 78. What am I saying? 57 to 58. As we head into the rest of the day, though, it will still start to feel a little cooler because of our winds. So while temperatures are increasing, winds are also going to increase. And that's because our pressure gradient at the surface is getting so strong. So strongest winds and gusts will be across eastern Oregon, where they'll be around 30 to 34 miles per hour today, but they could gust up to 50 miles per hour. Now this shows you Wednesday afternoon around 6 o'clock. We see a little bit of a calmer wind along the Treasure Valley, but still a light breeze to follow us through today and tomorrow morning. Gustier winds to follow into eastern Oregon over the next couple of days. So just a heads up, if you're heading out to eastern Oregon, it is going to be breezier there. Because of those stronger wind gusts and the potential to see them up to 50 miles per hour, we do have a wind advisory in place from 11 o'clock this morning through the afternoon and evening ahead. This goes all the way through 5 p.m. and again, gusts up to 50 miles per hour. If you live in that area or you're going camping over there, make sure you secure those loose items in place. We aren't done with the rain. There's another front moving through this afternoon, bringing in showers ahead of it, so around 2 o'clock. They'll be on and off through the evening ahead, and then waking up tomorrow, the unsettled weather continues, and the moisture starts to focus more so over those east and west central mountains. But that second front that we see arrive on Friday makes all of that rain change over to snow in the mountains. So you'll see snow levels gradually drop. Now for us here, that is still going to accumulate to rain. So by Friday, rain chances continue on mid 50s through Friday afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, you get those upper 50s, and we return near seasonable by Sunday and into Monday. But it does get a little bit warmer even into next week with lower 60s expected. Okay, let's get you ready now to head out to your morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
Okay, it is 6:51 and we are giving you a live look of downtown where it's Wednesday morning. Happy hump day to you if you're just now joining us. We're showing you the roads right now and take a look. You've got Broadway Avenue eastbound looking at a little slower. We're looking actually pretty sleepy out there. I-84 eastbound is where it looks the slowest this morning, but again, it is just to give you a time check, 6:52. Take a look at the drive times right now. We have an accident reported. Because of this, we're sitting at just over an hour.
In this morning's GMA First Look, it's 50 days to Christmas and time to talk savings.
Consumers are embracing discount stores as a part of their shopping list this year.
According to the National Retail Federation, this year, Americans are planning to spend around $890 per person to buy holiday gifts, food, decor, and more. New data from Bank of America paints a so-called tale of two wallets, with higher earners expected to make more purchases than lower-income consumers. And those lower earners trying to make their purchases earlier than usual.
A lot of the drivers of that is because of the need to spread out their expenses over several months to keep in line with their budget, but also with concerns about tariffs.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on the holiday deals you can shop right now. With your GMA First Look, I'm Mola Lengi, ABC News, New York.
At the Ada County Elections Office Tuesday as voters rolled in to hit the polls. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel with a look at voter turnout in Ada County. Roughly 81,000 ballots were cast in Ada County.
If you compare this election with like elections, which would be like a 2017, we're much higher turnout than we normally are.
The polling place is closed. As of 11 p.m. Tuesday, 100% of the votes were tallied. That includes 52,969 voters who hit the polls in person, 12,882 early voting ballots, and 15,278 submitted an absentee ballot. Cars from across 189 precincts and 132 voting locations arrived to the Ada County Elections Office around 45 minutes after polls closed. Ballots were then taken inside the warehouse.
So we go through a very sophisticated, methodical process of getting everything where it's supposed to go within the warehouse.
From there, the votes head into a tabulation room where rows of computers not connected to the internet scan absentee, early voting, and election day ballots.
Those all go into our tally system, and from there, we pull it out of the room and we go over and we report to the Secretary of State's website.
Ada County Clerk Trent Triple says Tuesday's election night ran smoothly throughout the county.
So far, we haven't had any reports of anybody not being able to vote as they've wanted to. So we call that a successful election.
If you want to keep up with results as they're updated, head to the link on this story on idahonews6.com. I'm your neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
Okay, it's 6:57, and as you get ready for the morning ahead, nice and cool, cloudy to start the day. We'll see showers move in later this afternoon. If you want the timeline on those, head on over to idahonews6.com. Otherwise, let's get you ready now to head out on your morning commute.
Now, the Idaho News 6 traffic report.
Okay, again, it is 6:57, and there's a look of downtown right now. A few commuters heading out, but if you're heading into downtown, you are going to run into some trouble if you're heading along I-84 eastbound. There has been an accident reported, so drive times have gone up significantly. Plan to give yourself some extra time. Here's I-84 at Gary. You can see that eastbound lane just looking like a parking lot out there. So again, make sure you're giving yourself that extra time this morning. Can't say that enough. We got Caldwell to downtown Boise at over an hour. So pretty busy Wednesday morning for us here, Roland.
Yeah, no question. It's one of those days that you actually appreciate coming in at 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
because you don't have to deal with all of that.
Exactly.
Hey, by the way, tonight is the largest supermoon of 2025. It'll be going up. Hopefully it'll be clear enough that we can see some of that.
It's supposed to peak at 7 in the morning tomorrow. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning.